Hello and Happy New Year. Just a story to get you started on this new year, this new opportunity, although every day you wake up is a new year. Hello. Um, but to get you started, I listened to a TED Talk the other day and it really made me think about how complacent we get in our lives, how stuck we get with our past, how much opportunity there is, but we really don't think about that. The TED Talk was about a red paperclip guy, and I believe his name was Kyle. I'll call him Kyle through the video here, but if that's not your name, Kyle, then apologies. Um, but he was tells the story of he was sitting at his desk one day and just looking down at paper clips that were on his desk. And he saw the red paper clip, made him think about this game called Bigger and Better. And he's like, I wonder what I could trade that paper clip for. I wonder where I could go with that paper clip. And he traded that paper clip. The first trade was for a fish pen. And he did all this through Craigslist, and people were following and people were commenting. And he traded the fish pen for something bigger and better, something bigger and better. And eventually he's like, I wonder if I could trade this paper clip all the way up for a house. Spoiler alert, he did. But during the process, he made some trades that he was excited about and other people not so much. He made some trades also that nobody understood, nobody could get, but in his head it made total sense. He made some trades that everybody was on board with, everybody thought was great. And I thought, this is kind of how life is. I wanted to do the challenge. When I finished watching the talk, I wanted to do the challenge. And then I thought, no, I am the challenge. I am the challenge. Our lives are paper clips. What if your life were a red paper clip? Where could you take that paper clip? What could you do with that paper clip? And that's how I thought. We start with the red paper clip. We're all given what we're given, and that's the beginning of our story. That's the beginning of our trade, and we try in our lives to trade up for bigger and better, and sometimes we do, and sometimes sideways trades. Sometimes Kyle made a sideways trade. Sometimes we make trades for things that nobody understands but us. My red paperclip beginning was my childhood poverty. When you read about childhood poverty, that was me. I've told this story before, but moving from home to home, having no heat or lights or food on the table, just living in a state of not knowing if there's going to be enough, not knowing if there's going to be a home, food, clothes, warmth. That was me. That was my story. That was my red paper clip. Traded up for bigger and better. At some point I'm like, I want a college degree. That's something I want to trade for. Trade this paperclip for that college degree. And I did. Everybody was on board with that. Everybody understood that. That made sense. Sure. Trade that college degree. Move from there to suburban soccer mom life. Move from there to professor at community college. People understood those trades. People got those trades. Some trades were even, some trades were across the board. They got those. And then when I got to the trade of, divorce, I made that trade, and people were like, "What? Why would she make that trade?" At some point in the video, Kyle made a trade, or in the TED Talk, Kyle made a trade for a snow globe, Kiss, the music group, snow globe, and nobody understood. He traded, I don't remember what it was, like an afternoon with Alice Cooper for a Kiss snow globe, and nobody understood. Why would he do that? Um, but in his mind, he totally understood it. He already had a trade lined up for that snow globe. And so it made sense to him. It didn't make sense to other people. For me, the divorce, it made sense for me. I knew what was on the other side of that. And even if it didn't make sense to other people, I went with that trade. Some trades Kyle made didn't make sense to other people at all. And in his mind, like uh, at one point he trades for a generator. He's super excited about it. He's like, yes, this is something I've always, and other people are like, what? What is, nobody wanted it. Nobody understood. And that's kind of, when I traded my Michigan life, I'd been in Michigan for 30 years and had that life that I had established there, friends, family, sold everything I had, called my realtor, put my house on the market, moved across country with whatever was in my Prius, whatever I could fit in my Prius, and moved across to my new home and to a place I'd never been, a place I didn't know anybody, I had no connections, and nobody understood that. Nobody got that. But in my heart, it felt like a great trade. So your life is that paperclip. You know, what can you trade up for? Not necessarily up. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to other people. Sometimes it doesn't look like something people would trade for. But what can you trade bigger and better for? And not necessarily better in the eyes of other people, better in your heart. Uh, so that's just what I want to leave you with today. That red paperclip, some people never move. And that's what Kyle says at the end of the video. He's like, if I had never taken action, I'd still be just a guy sitting at my desk looking at that red paperclip, wondering what I could get for it. And some people do that with their lives. My challenge to you, do not sit on your big fat paperclip and waste it. Get out there and make some trades. Get out there and go after your own version of trading the paperclip for the house. And really think, what is it that I want in my life and where could I go? And he didn't go from paperclip to house all at once. A lot of us get stuck there. He didn't go from paperclip to house all at once. He went little trades along the way. And he also tells the story of how the person who did the original trade with him wore the red paperclip around her neck at the housewarming party that was held when he actually got the house. Wore the red paperclip around her neck, and people were like, oh, are you sorry you traded that? That might be worth something. And he's like, no, it never was about the paperclip. It was about the experiences, the people, the story. And that's what I want to encourage you to think about, how I want to encourage you to think about your life. It's not about what you were given when you came into the world. Yes, childhood poverty was my story when I came into the world. It's not what I'm holding in my hands right now. It's a part of my story. It's back there. It's a part of it. That suburban soccer mom, that's a part of my story. That divorce, that's a part of my story. But all of these together are part of my story, but they're not who I am. They're not my current story. So let those things go. The other people have those traits. Let those things go. Be where you are right now. Imagine where you might take your trade. And get off that big fat paper clip and get out there and have some fun and make some stories. All right, you guys have a great new year.